Nicole, you asked me how to teach the dog to do place, so I decided to make it a quick video. I have not shown Tanner anything to do with place so far. All I've done is take him for a walk. I got him back, I put him in a crate for a few minutes, and I just got him out to go potty. So this is our very first time at it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to it. I'm going to use my foot as a reminder. As soon as my foot touches the mat, his feet will not be touching it yet. I will say place. I will use gentle leash pressure to guide him onto the mat. As soon as he is centered, I will give a gentle pop up, and that way he'll know that's the barrier. So this is our very first attempt at it. Place. He doesn't have to sit down. It's okay for him to stand, but him sitting is kind of him showing that he's understanding it a little bit. So to test it out, I'm going to walk around. No. He has to miss up in order to learn. In order for him to know he cannot step off that, he has to attempt it. That way I can communicate with him. No means, go back to what you're doing. So again, I'm going to do a little quarter circle. I'm holding the leash up like this, so that way the second that he starts to move off, I can give the immediate correction to let him know that that's not what I want. Again, that the leash is loose, so there's no tension on it. No. Make a little quarter circle. No. Since he messed up, I'm going to go back and do the same thing that I did the first time. Quarter circle. No. Go back again. Do a half circle. He did good. So I'm going to go back. Because you want him to succeed. If I did a full circle around, most likely he would get up. So I want him to feel like he did something good. I didn't correct him that time. I was going to give him the opportunity to correct himself.
Did he? Because he stopped at the edge of the mat?
Yes, he did. Since he didn't walk off, he's learning that stepping off is not what I want. So he corrected himself on that one. And since he did good, I'm actually going to go ahead and take him off the mat to let him kind of revel in his glory there. He did a good thing. So I'm going to get a release word. Okay. Gentle pressure to take him off. Now I'm going to do it again. Place. And you saw there the pressure up. He was already starting to sit before I even did it. So at this point I want to do the same thing. Walking behind the dog is always the hardest part for them because they want to turn their head around and look at you. So before I do that, I want to try out the easier one, which is just me doing a half circle. He did good. So now, I didn't correct him because I was waiting to see if he would do it himself. You also notice I'm not giving a lot of praise. I'm not saying good boy, I'm not petting him. And the reason that is, it's kind of like a service dog. If you notice a service dog, they have the vest on, they let you know, do not pet the dog, do not say hi to the dog. And the reason that is, that brings him out of that working mode. And he's not a service dog, but he is working, so I don't want to take him out of that by giving a lot of high praise. So I'm going to try it again. No.
And that time was different because his paws came up and were going off?
Exactly. Before I was, trying to give him an opportunity to correct himself, which he did. That time he did start to step off of it. So by holding the leash this way, I was able to correct him the exact second that he started to mess up. So that way, the more that happens, the more he'll learn that this is the boundary. So here I'm just going to do, circles around. Back up again. And now that I feel pretty confident that he's getting it, I can go ahead and drop the leash. I'm walking away slowly. Also my back, I'm facing him. That way, if he does start to come off the mat, I can see it and I can tell him no. No. As soon as he came off the mat, I gave him the verbal no. As I walked up to him, I grabbed the leash. I gave it a pop. That's the physical correction. That's the animal part. And then without repeating the command, I gave him the gentle leash pressure to guide him back on it. That way he knows what I want.
Why do you not want to repeat the command?
If you repeat the command, it's going to become one of those things where you're saying, sit, 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 place, place, place. You're going to keep repeating it. So the dog is just not, he's not going to care about the first time you say it, because he's going to be like, okay, my owner's going to continue to say that word. So why should I do it the first time? He's just going to say it again.
So the word has more meaning.
The word has more meaning if you only say it one time.
Okay.
If you keep repeating it, it doesn't have as much meaning to it.
Okay.
So there, he just laid down. Again, like I said before, place, you don't have to lay down, you don't have to sit, you can do whatever as long as you don't leave. The more they sit, the more they lay, the more they're showing you that they're committed to it. So that's great that he's laying down. So again, I'm going to try this. I'm going to drop the leash, walk away. And you notice again, my back is not to him, I'm looking at him. That way I can give him the correction whenever he messes up. No. I didn't correct him immediately that time because you could kind of see that he kind of paused, he hesitated for a second looking at me. Right there you saw before I even reached the leash, he went ahead and he backed onto it. But before he was kind of looking at me like he was kind of questioning. He's like, do I stay or do I go? I was going to give him the opportunity to correct himself. But as soon as he continued to walk on off of it, then I corrected him. But that last time there, I didn't say no, I gave a sound. You can use whatever you like. You can say no, you can give it a sound. I kind of switch from back and forth to either one. You just find whatever works best for you.
So is that the same meaning as no? That sound?
Yes, humans usually, our voices carry a lot of energy, which transfers over to the dog and create a lot of excitement. Whereas sound, using that shh sound, you saw there, his head kind of twitched when I did it. That's more, the dogs seem to understand a little bit better. It's a more natural sound form. So again, no. So you see there right away, no is not working for him as well. I said no, he didn't react to it. I said the shh sound, he got it better. And you saw, as soon as he messed up, as soon as I walked towards him, he stepped back onto the mat. So that's spatial pressure. All training, all the communication is all about pressure in one shape, form, or another. In that case, it was spatial pressure. Before I was even able to get to him to grab the leash, he's already understanding that, okay, he wants me to stay on this mat. So just the act of me walking towards him was the correction on that one. So again, I want to step away from him.
How long should these lessons, or when you're teaching place command, go on?
When I'm teaching an actual command, I like to keep the sessions pretty short, 15, 20 minutes. Anything past that, the dogs kind of lose interest and they really don't pay attention to you. But the place command is for long duration exercises. It's not, I'm going to stay here for 5 minutes and get off. It's, once I'm here, I'm going to be here for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So this first session, I'm going to work with him like this until he gets it, which, he's already starting to understand it now. But after he gets the basic concept, I'll actually leave him on here for maybe the next hour. I'll sit down, make myself comfortable, watch TV, do whatever I feel like doing. But he'll learn that once I get onto this place, it's not just, I'm going to hang out here and then I'm going to get off and go party. It's, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to relax. This is going to be a calming exercise. And this will again transfer over to activities in the, in the house in general. As soon as he comes in from outside, the home isn't going to be high energy, running around, doing stuff. The home is going to be for relaxation. And as you saw right there, he's been on there for a few minutes now, however long. And he realized, I guess I'm going to be here for a while. I went ahead and lay down. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for him to relax and just kind of hang out. So at this point, usually when you sit down, you are going to get a reaction. Normally they'll normally a lot of people sit down and they call the dogs to them for affection. So that's why you get a lot of that reaction. No. And you can use that as a training exercise all by itself. Sit down, he'll probably stand up, get off place. Later on, you can add knocking on the door, knock on it, ring the doorbell. A lot of times opening the door, just the sound of it will make dogs get up. So you can go over there and start wiggling the doorknob. No. And the more you do this, the easier it becomes for him. Like I said, this is the very first time he's done it. So, already within a matter of minutes, he's already understanding what I want. So after, days go by, he'll get better and better. And there we go. After a couple of times of me sitting and standing, he's finally getting it. And then you can add affection to it. There's also a really good way to test them. Usually when people give affection, that means jump on me, get excited, run around. And this way, affection means just affection. It doesn't mean break command. It doesn't mean stop doing what you're doing.
So I think this is also a good time to point that the only time you ever give affection is if they're sitting.
They don't have to be sitting necessarily. I do prefer them to be sitting.